Good morning all to our 17th webinar of IAPWC Goa. So as we have been conducting a lot of programs on pediatric rehabilitation this whole month, in that same view, we are going to go ahead with today's program also. So today's topic is importance of empowering parents and guardians involvement in the treatment of neurodevelopmental disabilities. And today we have with us Dr. Karuna. So without waiting much, I would like to ask Dr. Parul, who is our moderator, to start with the session. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Smarnika. Season's greetings and a pleasant good morning to everyone. I, Dr. Parul Nayal, welcomes you all to this 17th webinar organized by IAP Women's Cell Goa on the topic Importance of Empowering Parents and Guardians Involvement in Treatment of Neurodevelopmental Disabilities. That's the part 3 of our webinar. When a child is born with a disability, parents experience a sense of vulnerability as they realize the permanent nature of disability while engaging with special educators and treatment professionals over the course of their child's educational and rehabilitation experience. This feeling of vulnerability often results in stress at varying levels that ultimately impacts the well-being of the family unit. Hence, today's webinar explores empowerment among parents of children with special needs. It will deal with how changes in parents' pattern of involvement and participation leads to their empowerment in an effective way. I feel privileged to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Karuna Singh. She is a certified neurodevelopmental physical therapist and is working with children with special needs since 2004 and is also has certification in sensory integration, Preschel's General Movement Course Advance, and also an organizer for the GMA course. She has treated hundreds of children with various developmental concerns, namely cerebral palsy, Downs, autism, etc. Her core expertise is early intervention. She is also the founder of Joints and Motion, Junior in Motion, JNM Academy in Mumbai. I welcome you, Dr. Karuna Singh, on behalf of IAP Women's Cell Goa and request you to share your knowledge and expertise with us. Over to you, Dr. Karuna.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Dr. Parul. Thank you for your kind
Doctor.
words. And
welcome.
I am extremely grateful and privileged that IACP Women's Cell has given me an opportunity to share my experience with all the parents and the clinical community who are involved in treating children with neurodevelopmental disorders. I am extremely grateful to all of you all who have spared the Sunday morning with us and are here to listen to me and understand how together we can make this journey a wonderful experience all together and have support system from all the corners as parents, as professionals, how we come together and we take this journey forward. So this is all what we are going to discuss in the next 45 minutes to an hour. So with your permission, I would like to start. Dr. Parul has already given you all the brief foundation of what are we going to expect in today's talk. It's definitely about, how critical and how important is it to involve parents and guardians of all the children that we treat. It has to be an effort from both the ends. When both the ends are aligned with the same intention of healing the child, I specifically use the word healing more than treating, because then we all, not only as experts, but somebody who are primary caregivers, it could be as professionals and as guardians, but our aim altogether is to create some change in the child's functional abilities and to create some joy in the family when we are passing by through this rough journey.
Dr.
Dr.
Karuna, kindly
Karuna,
unmute
yeah.
yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you see the slide?
We can, Dr. Karuna, you can start.
Yeah. So we all are wonderfully made. The way our children come to this world, they many a times they come with certain deficits at birth, or sometimes even you have the optimal birthing place. You have everything optimal, the best of the situations, and then there is some trauma or there's some accident that happens that the child then gets into difficulty, and then we start the disability setting in. So what I want to stress here is that whatever the current situation is, we need to accept that and now have a way forward, rather than questioning, what went wrong, how it went wrong. The parents especially, they get into a turmoil then, and there is no way forward if we are stuck with questioning ourselves and your team of clinicians who is working with your child. Then it's not going forward in a smooth way, because this is a long journey, we all know, and we need to be prepared that it may take some time, but we need to instill faith in us. While we are saying all this, what exactly do we need to do? Are we here to share our expertise? Are we here to share our
Oh,
experience? Yes?
excuse me, Dr. Karuna. Yeah, can you just press the slideshow because your slides are not visible and on full screen?
Okay, just a minute.
Yeah, current slide. No, slideshow, the current slide.
That's, yeah, just go with the page which you
Yeah,
want
Yeah,
to have. Yes, yes.
fine.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, my pleasure. Thanks. So, here it is more about, I would say, when we are trying to empower our parents, we are not here to, share and make them clinicians or make them professionals. I have always, when I advocate about, empowering parents and making them involved right from day one, at times I have questions and queries coming from the professional end. So do we mean to say that we are going to, give them enough of or sufficient knowledge that they are becoming the clinicians or the primary therapists? My answer to this is no. We are here to share our experiences. Clinicians who have worked for a long time with children with special needs would agree with me that immaterial, if the diagnosis, even if your investigations are same, identical, still the clinical presentation differs. It's completely different. In over the last 16 years, I have not seen a single child being, identical, but somewhere there is some similarity. There is some way that, his or her parents have tackled and they found it fruitful. So here we are going to share our experience so that we add a bit of quality to the child's life and add joy to the family. When we are seeing about healing children with special needs, the family is important. The family's peace of mind is important. The atmosphere that is there in the house where a child with special needs is there, that is important. And even if we can bring a smallest of joy or to the family by the way we are treating our children and the way we are giving carryovers to our parents, this is how we are going to share our experiences. I write here on my slide the word caution. It is deliberate in bright red, that yes, please, my colleagues, my fellow therapists, we are not here to say that, we will tell to take over completely. The parents need to take over completely and become the primary therapist. No, we in the NDT world, we all learn that we need to give a carryover. And in the whole talk, we are going to speak more. How can we give a carryover? What is the importance of giving a carryover so that we have more of functional achievements coming? We all have rode bicycles, right? Looking at this current slide on the pictures, if we recall who helped us learn the bicycle riding, did anybody teach us, these are the major components of efficient bicycle riding? Either it was our mom or dad or our elder sister, brother, any caregiver who just said that, sit and pedal, and I am there to take care. I will manage the fall. You fall once, twice, and then there is a day that you learn to cycle without even knowing that these are the critical components for you to essential for a bicycle ride. And this is how it is even with children with special needs or anything that we learn through experiences. The people who teach us about what experiences they have got, they are not going to stress on the individual physics of the bicycle riding, but they are sharing their experience. And this is what happens when you have a lot of exposure and you've had a lot of experience, and there are several parents who are there to support each other, give their views, we share our views, and this is how we can empower and make them involved in the entire journey. This is the foundation. When we get the news, it could be at birth, or as I stressed earlier, it could be even later in life. Acceptance of there is some issue with the child makes the foundation of your journey forward. If we are stuck and we are resistant, which we all see every day, every new child who is coming to your OPDs, and you see that the first thing that the parents are hesitant to do is accept that there is some issue, and which we don't deny, which we very respectfully and humbly accept, that it is difficult to accept that my child, most of the times the children that we see who have some developmental disorders are precious births. Most of the time it is very well planned, but there is something going wrong. What exactly, we don't know. The science, the research gives us some basic reasoning for it. Oh, probably this would have been wrong and that went wrong and this was not right, and was the reason for the child to have some developmental disorder. But nobody can coin exactly bang on this is the reason. So my humble request to my parents is that, we need to accept. And what is important while we are accepting is seeing it with your heart and not with your eyes. Here I would like to share a small story that, in the initial years of my practice, when I began to practice, the beginning of the years, as a newcomer, you tend to look into the files and you tend to look into the investigations, and then you see that, oh, this area of the brain is affected, there is a problem in these nerves, this is what is going wrong. And somewhere I felt then you are, dominated by those investigations, and somewhere you are, covering up the potentials that you can see later. Later, when I started to work the other way around, that I said to myself, I would like to visualize the changes I want to bring in the baby. And then simultaneously I keep the investigations handy just for my knowledge or my part of being a clinician. But it's important for my eyes to see what I want the child to go. And thankfully this has worked wonderfully. And my parents also, so many of them, they have said that, we are grateful that this thought was put across. I had a child who was 9 or 10 years of old. They had gone on a vacation to Alibag beach. The child is playing in the water, and there are dogs coming from nowhere, and they bite the child's shoulder up above, closer to the more to the neck. And on the investigation, the child had a post-ganglionic lesion. And when you say that there is a lesion of that level, the first thing our team who was working on that particular child said that, ma'am, what are we working for? It is clearly saying all these things, and do you think we will be able to get results? I said, yes, we will be able to, and let us just work. And I am so grateful that today the child is having all his normal activities in place. There is no functional deficit whatsoever. I will have abundant of stories like this, which have happened in my practice, which tells me that and strengthens my belief that we need to open our eyes and visualize what we are expecting from the child. What are you expecting to achieve rather than being stuck? What are you currently seeing? If there is a deficit now, yes, we have an opportunity, we have a window to make improvement in every child. Okay. Now, when we know these fundamentals, okay, this is how we need to do this is how, but we need to know the way, how do we come closer? Many a times the parents, they are told about the diagnosis of the child, but there is no counseling, there is no awareness given to the parents regarding the current problem. What were the probable cause? Though we all agree that we don't know the definite cause of it, but yes, there are some probability. This might have gone wrong, that might have gone wrong. I do this especially when your first baby is a baby who is having some neurodevelopmental disorder. So these young parents, they are going to plan their second baby, and which is very critical for the family to be complete, and for giving the child who has some deficits, to give him or her the atmosphere of showing him the optimal growth, how a normal child will grow. And it is important that we counsel them, we tell them, okay, fine, it has gone wrong with this particular child, and in most probability it may not happen with your second child unless and until it is a genetic issue or certain issues where it is bound to be seen in the second child as well. Very, very few, and very rarely, I can count on my fingers how many numbers of parents that I had to say that, okay, this was your first baby, and maybe probably the second one also may have. So when I say count on my numbers, so in 16 years, very few. So that should give assurance to the parents that we should not get, taken aback by the thought of having your family, having a baby, second baby in your family, if in case you've had your first one with some issue. Search for the cause. Now, the search for the cause, yes, it is normal. It is a normal human behavior to find reason. We are anxious to know. Please, God, let me know. Or please, my therapist, my doctors on board, please tell me what went wrong. Who was wrong? The father was wrong, the mother was wrong, or the situation was wrong. But it is most of the time unfortunate that we don't have the cause. There are bunches of things that have happened that has led to whatever issue that we are seeing today, but not a single one standalone cause that we have. What is important more than the cause? Acceptance, as we said earlier, and then looking out for a cure, looking out for a better tomorrow. And the tomorrow needs to get better every day, every single day. You should be able to see that your child is getting functionally more aware, more independent, and more involved, and being more a part of the family. And then, yes, obviously, when we are settled and we have accepted the child, the journey way forward is going to be much fruitful and a bit tough, easier rather. As we see here, acceptance is the road to all changes. The more we accept, the more it is going to be easy for us to have good results forward. Now, when we are talking about way forward now, and when we are talking about empowering the parents and the guardians, so does that say that, our role stops here? No, it is, I'm consistently going to stress on the fact that it has to be together. It is not one way. It has to be intentionally inclined together. If it was an open session and if we had an opportunity to interact, I'm so sure there are so many of my colleagues and clinicians who would say, certain times I feel that no matter what efforts I am putting in, but the parents feel that probably it's not working, and it truly doesn't work. It just doesn't work unless and until the parents, the caregivers, and the clinicians, they are all on the same page. They have accepted what the concerns are. They have a roadmap further, and they all are together on achieving that. Trust me, the results are fabulous, and you all, whoever have desired the results, they all are seeing positive changes. But either way, if there is resistance coming from either from the clinician or from the parents, then probably there is resistance and there is no smooth journey forward. So it is very critical that my parents should put in faith in their clinicians. They are professionals who are there to help you. They are there to guide you. We need to have faith the way we have faith in our God. Okay, we few believe in Ganpati Bappa, we few believe in Christ, but they all make miracles in our life because we believe. So it is primary for us to have wonderful results and to see wonderful changes in our baby. We need to have an intent to heal and healing together. Okay. Now, if we have to heal the baby, now what are the ways? Okay, when we have a child with special needs, what are the modes of treatment? Now, the modes of intervention are, pharmacological and non-pharmacological. The pharmacological ones are the experts from the neurology field, the orthopedic field, and so on and so forth, which is not my expertise. Our expertise is the non-pharmacological, that is the therapy world, where your child may need physiotherapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, ABA, allied therapies. And now in today's generation, there is a huge list of things that could have been there on that column. But parents, I would like to highlight a point here that in the earlier days, the earlier days when you have identified a baby, say around 3 months or 4 months of age, it is very critical to have guidance and support system from the conventional lines of treatment, the conventional lines of intervention, which is physiotherapy, occupational therapy, because all this is going to set in a foundation on which you are going to see results in the coming years. It is absolutely critical for you to have a team which is going to guide you, a 360-degree approach where, your therapists are going to tell you about how your baby needs to be held, how your baby needs to, what milestones are we going to expect, and how does even slight handling, the right handling of your baby can reduce the impairment later in the coming years. And it is a teamwork. Okay, you need your professionals on board who will consistently guide you. There is a wonderful way that since we have been so empowered with technology, today we are face to face, thank you to the technology. And the same way, since WhatsApp has come, since it is so easier for us to share videos, several of my parents are doing certain things which are given them to them as carryovers, and they are sharing how does the child look when they are doing certain things. And as clinicians, all we need to do is just comment, okay, fine, Dada, Mama, this is the way you held the baby and it is doing wonders. Continue to do that. And then you see a child probably who would have been a CP or would have had a spastic die at a age when it is supposed to walk, and you see that you don't see that significant tightness. The baby is going to take steps, and most of the time taking steps the right way. And this is coming just by giving them the right carryover, by the right guidance, and not by really laying your hands. As somebody who works in early intervention, I feel in the earlier years, we need to empower and guide our parents also, that, certain positions in which you hold your child or the way you touch your baby may be helpful, and certain ways it may not be helpful. It is critical for us to share what is right and wrong in the early days and even in the years to come forward. uh, as a therapist, it is your responsibility to see that we are giving them enough of function oriented goals, and goals which are making a difference to the child and overall the family. Like certain times I have had parents coming and saying that, today he sat upright and watched that certain movie, and he smiled and he giggled. We can't, it's a small thing, but we can't imagine the amount of joy that the family has with even such a small achievement. So immaterial, no matter how small or big the functional change is, but it is definitely adding to a good atmosphere in the house and getting in joys to the family. Now parents, here you please need to take care that whatever goals, whenever there are there's a new client, new patient walking in the OPD, and when you listen to their issues and you are seeing the baby, and then you ask, mom, dad, what brings you here and what are you expecting? So the question that they have in their mind most of the time is that, कब तक चलेगा, कब सब अपने आप कर लेगा? So these are questions which are very normal. And when we are looking at the baby's current condition, we know that it may take some time, or probably when the deficits and the impairments are a little high, probably we may or may not even go there. So what we need to tell parents is, I'm not here to discuss, or we should not be, discussing about what is coming into, in next 4 years. I am very specific asking to my parents that, what duration and what are your expectations, so that we together have a goal to work towards that. Otherwise, if the parents feel is waiting that kab chalega, kab baith jayega, kab apne aap sab kar lega, and wherein as a clinician I have goals set in for the next 3 months and long term and short term, we are not aligned, so our healing is not going the right way. So it is important for us to explain to our parents that whatever goals we are setting, they need to be smart. And they need to be smart, not only in your day-to-day therapy lives, but even when you are home and you are deciding certain goals for your child, that it has to be specific, it has to be measurable, it has to be realistic. Many a times my parents make goals for themselves, thinking about them. I want my child to go to the school, but if you look at the child's abilities, you really don't know whether going to school is going to help the child. I always tell my parents the child needs to go to school not to have the conventional learning, but to see the children moving around, the children who are growing normally. The more the child gets an opportunity to see such children, that's more of a stimulus, what we as therapists cannot give in our clinical setups unless and until it is group therapies. But I encourage parents to send children to even play groups, even if the child is quite severely involved, where you need to sit with the baby and go to the nursery. I encourage parents to do that, because the more they are seeing normal children running around speaking, the more stimulus they are getting, and they are trying to copy them, and they are trying to make some functional shifts. So parents, my humble request to have goals which are realistic for your child, and not something that you wish to. We need to just compare. You need to discuss with your clinicians that, this is what I feel my child should do, whether, and then your clinicians will guide you that, okay, fine, this is what you wish to, and this is what the child can achieve or cannot achieve, or what are the use of, having that particular goal. And as therapist, I feel we also need to have realistic goals. Like I would like to share one. There was one child who was severely arthetoid. Okay, every breath is also laborious, but the parents, very well-to-do, flamboyant, and elite class, where they want that, no, we are giving enough of intervention, so the child will start to walk and do. Today, the child is more than 17 years of age, but barely even speech. The child is intellectually a bit low. So the smile comes the way a low intellect child would smile, but the parents were hell-bent. No, she should smile normally. These are unrealistic goals, and these are goals which are troubling the child, not helping. And we are here to ease the child's issues and help them grow normally. There are certain pointers that I have put in here where we need to, keep these points in mind, that we immaterial of how impaired the child is, whatever deficits the child has, self-esteem has to be instilled in the child. We need to respect the child's being. We need to respect that, the child, even if he can express or cannot express verbally through gestures or whatever, there is some way of communication. Even just through eyes, they can communicate to you what they are feeling. It is our duty, the caregiver's duty, to building that self-esteem. Now, when you have one baby who is normal and the other one having some deficits, we tend to compare, or even we tend to compare with the children. If the child is going to special school or coming to therapist, oh, this one could do this and this one cannot. Let us not get into that at all, ever, because that's not taking us anywhere. Children have strengths and competencies, and strengths must be identified and reinforced. It is both ways, even for parents and even for clinicians. I would like to go blind to what is missing. I love to pick up what is there and just polish it, so that it covers up whatever deficits I have. Um, Parents who convey hope, are the ones who actually see changes. Parents who have given up, that no, मुझे नहीं लगता है कुछ हो पाएगा या कुछ कर पाएंगे, वहां पे सच में कुछ नहीं होता है। बहुत बहुत कम उम्मीद के साथ अगर आप अपने आप को बांध चुके हैं कि नहीं इतना ही होगा और इससे आगे कुछ होने वाला नहीं है, तो सच में नहीं होता है। So what is important is that we should instill some hope and put in some faith that yes, there is a window possible for us to make good positive changes. Now parents can give opportunities to the child to make choices and decisions. Now if your child is highly functioning, I feel it's important, if you have put in self-esteem, then to give the child the opportunity to have your own say. I have seen this very typically happening with our hemi kids. These guys are absolutely high functioning. They are little rigid with their behaviors, and they are not somebody who will get convinced. Okay, they need to know facts. And I have seen parents that they want to run around bush and treat them like small children and give them fake reasons, and which has not worked. And then they want to call me and say that ma'am, this is what is happening, that is crying, even she's crying, I'm also crying, I feel like giving up. No, if you know the child is high functioning, the child can understand, please give them real facts. Don't try to run around bushes and make certain things difficult on both the ends. Then parents should help them to identify their mistakes and failures. Yes, tell them it's okay. There is no problem. If you've had a fall, it's okay, unless and until the safety of the child is taken care of. A fall is definitely going to teach something. It is going to, don't take away opportunities from your child to grow. Most of the times parents want to become shadows of their children, taking away the opportunity of the child to experiment. How will I handle the fall? And then when the child is growing up, and in the later years, when they are growing big in size, and in a place where physically it is difficult for the parents to tackle the child, you find it difficult because you have robbed the opportunities in the earlier days, where the child could have learned that, how will I take care? If I have to fall, how will I place my hands? How will I hold on to something if the parent tries to be a shadow all the time? Yes, but for all this to happen, the parents need to have some sort of training. It could be a complete, just a chat with your fellow parents who have had children with certain impairments. And then that experience that we are talking about sharing, that really empowers you and gives you some tips and tricks which are real time, exactly like the way the bicycle riding. This is what I call the bicycle riding in the therapy world also, because you are listening to people who have experienced, and you have heard how have they tackled. We may try it. If it works for us, yes, it is wonderful. If it doesn't work, we are looking at some other option to come forward. The more you know about certain things, the easier it will be to help yourself to take care of the baby, and even to help your child, to guide your child. When we are giving carryovers to our parents, it is very critical that we are not repeating a typical therapy session again at home. My dear parents and my fellow clinicians, we are giving carryovers the way we teach in the NDT world. We are stimulating the action. We are not here to, do the exact same thing at home also. The child then gives up. Please understand, this is a journey for years together. If you give it too much right now, the child will not like it. They become repulsive. They don't want to do it at home, or are resistant in the therapy setup. The easiest way and the best way to do is to keep it in a play method. Whatever changes you have done in the therapy session, you need to guide your parents, empower them, that how can they in a play way start to use these and keep these as carryovers, the changes that you do in a therapy session. If that is the way, the child will also enjoy, because there is some novelty. If you make it a typical exercise session that has already happened in the first half of the day, probably then it is not really going to work forward. Treat your son or daughter as you would treat a child without disabilities. This is something very, very important, and especially when parents tend to get overprotective. It is absolutely natural and normal that that the child has certain deficits, the child has certain problems in moving around, and we try to get too much cautious. But at certain times, as I said earlier, it takes away the opportunities for child to experiment. That if I do something like this, what would happen? Taking care of the child safety is primary, and if that's the case, then you can allow the child and give the child the freedom to maneuver and to move on his or her own. Now take your child to different places. Yes, immaterial. Most of the times my parents, when I ask them what was the last outing, they say नहीं मैम, नहीं जाते हैं हम लोग. जहां भी जाते हैं, मॉल में जाते हैं, कुछ भी इसको बोलो ये सीधा रोना चालू करेगा. There is lying down on the floor, there is yelling, there is biting, and so we don't want to take the child out. No, mom and dad, this is not the right approach to do it. Yes, initial days, the first outing may be difficult, the second one may be difficult, but I assure you the third is getting easier, the third is getting better. But if you keep your child confined always, there is no outing, there is no fun together, then probably certain things are definitely getting difficult and not resolving any issues either for the child or for you. Learning from professionals, yes, I have stressed that enough, that we need to take guidance from the professionals, take their help and understand what and how we need to do. Ask for help from family and caregivers. This is something which is very important. Many a times, especially the mothers, are the ones who need to primarily take care of the baby, and she is absolutely stressed because our culture says that the woman needs to do everything. So she is responsible to look after the house and look after the baby who is not independent enough. It is a completely tiring task if alone that lady or one single person needs to do it. As a family, we need to educate them that these roles need to be shared by all of y'all, so that nobody is overworked and then there is no stress coming in the family when you are caregiving to a child with special needs. There are every day, our therapy world, or the world where rehabilitation is happening, is a world where there is every day there is something or the other that is new which is coming. We don't know, it is not enough validated, but I feel there is no harm in trying that out, whether it is suiting your child, if it is benefiting your child. Be aware, check with your professional, can we try this, can we do this? If they are with you, then please give it a thought and let's do it. Yes, let's move forward. Now, what is important here is being patient. Keep up with the hope of improvement. If you be patient and every day you have a hope, I am sure that there are changes coming. Even a single day that you feel that, no, I am done and I don't see any changes coming further, then probably it's a situation where we are making it difficult for us and for others too. Now, the major concern with every parent who has a child with special needs is that, कब अपने आप सब कर लेगा, स्कूल जा पाएगा या नहीं जा पाएगा, अगर स्कूल जाता है नॉर्मल जाएगा, स्पेशल जाएगा, क्या जाएगा. For all my parents, I would like to stress there is a education option for every child. But what we need to do is we need to find out what is actually going to make a change to your child's life. Just because you want your child to have normal schooling is not the right goal. A normal schooling for a child who is severely impaired is probably like a punishment. We need to understand what are the child's abilities, what is the window of improvement we have, and according to that we need to give education. In the earlier days, as I said earlier, I'm sending the child to the nursery or to the play group is not to learn A, B, C, D, red, blue, green, yellow. No, the aim is to see other children move, other children play, other children laugh. And this realistic aim is setting in a foundation for me to send the child to a better education system. So our goal and our expectations need to be realistic, and we can avail to a lot of opportunities that are there. Coming to financial support. Now, it is very critical. The journey of having a special child is really long, and with hope and faith, we are expecting improvement. But there are certain times that the speed at which it is going, it is really very slow, and the parents are not prepared financially. Unfortunately, fortunately, the systems that we have in our country, they differ from state to state. Every state has its own policies and own schemes to give support to parents and children with special needs. You need to speak to your financial advisors, or you could go online. There is enough of information available. You could discuss with your financial advisor and your therapist and find out what help that your state gives you, and according to that, seek it. Half of the time parents are not wanting to seek it. Pata nahi milega, nahi milega. let us not give up. First check what benefits can you get, because as we know, the journey is little longer. We are definitely going to require, and as therapists we also need to be actively understanding, and we need to give guidance to our parents that how many sessions of therapy will make a difference, what is important, equal balance of therapies and outings and equal exposure to the outside world when done together is giving good functional improvement. There are certain tax benefits as well. You can speak to your financial advisor and seek and get those benefits. Coming towards the end, this is my personal message. Stay strong, because things will get better. My dear parents, you may make a frame of something like this and put it in your rooms or your houses, because it definitely today it looks stormy, but it's not going to rain forever. I have not seen this, and it's not even happening really. Okay, so there is a window of opportunities. We just need to tap it. We need to be patient. We need to have a healing way of looking at it. And definitely we are going forward. With this, I would like to conclude here. And thank you so much once again to all of y'all to patiently listen to me and allow me to share my experiences. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Karuna.
Yeah.
It was wonderfully enriching and very informative session for all of
Thank
us.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. I would now like to welcome two of the parents, Mrs. Chaudhary, that's Afia's mom, and Mrs. Kanchan Desai, that's Rohit's mom, to share their experiences with us. Over to you.
हॅलो.
हा मी बोलो.
हा नाही, मी रोहितची आई.
बरं, बोल बोल बोल.
हा, मराठी, हिंदी
काहीही चालेल, तुला जे आवडेल.
ओके. अच्छा. ओके. रोहित डिसेबिलिटी डायग्नोज झालेली होती, सेरेब्रल पाल्सी, सिव्हिअरली क्वाड्रिप्लेजिक होता आणि आयसाईटचा प्रॉब्लेमही होता, पण हिअरिंग त्याचं नॉर्मल होतं. डॉक्टर करुणांकडे येण्याच्या आधी माझं नॅप बरोबरचे सेशन्स चालू होते. त्याच्यामध्ये रोहितची सिटिंग ॲबिलिटी त्यांनी जॅकेट्स वगैरे देऊन त्याला बसवून करून घ्यायच्या ॲक्टिव्हिटीज असं चाललेलं होतं. त्यामध्ये मला असं लक्षात आलं की ॲक्च्युअली क्वाड्रिप्लेजिक असल्यामुळे त्याचं स्पाइन वर त्याचं प्रेशर पडायला लागलं, की त्याला जरी मी जॅकेटमध्ये घालून बसवून काही ॲक्टिव्हिटी करत होती, ते खूप घाई झाली असंही कुठेतरी झालं की काय असं वाटत होतं. कारण स्पाइन नंतर स्कोलिओसिस डेव्हलप झाला रोहितला. या सगळ्या जर्नीमध्ये खरोखर स्टार्ट पासून मी ज्या थेरपिस्टनी मला हिंदुजामध्ये मेदिनी पाध्ये म्हणून त्यांनी मला अवेअर केलेलं, त्यांनी मला बुक्स दिलेले की सेरेब्रल पाल्सी म्हणजे काय, त्या मुलांबरोबर कसं राहायचं, तू कसं हँडल करायचंय रोहितला, ही सगळी होती. पण दरवेळेला ही नेहमीच क्युरिओसिटी राहिली की अजून किती राहणार आहे, अजून मला पुढे काय करायचंय. ॲडिशनली त्याला एपिलेप्टिक अटॅक्स यायचे, म्हणजे मायोक्लोनिक जर्क्स यायचे, त्याचे पण मेडिसिन्स चालू होते. कोपिंग ॲज सच इन ऑल फॅमिली ॲज अ युनिट करू शकलो, म्हणूनच मी त्याच्याबरोबरचं आयुष्य माझं सुखी झालं असं म्हणता येईल. आणि वेळोवेळी माझे काउन्सिलर्स, थेरपिस्ट माझे नेहमीच काउन्सिलर्स होते. मलाही समजून घेत होते, मला गाईड करत होते आणि त्यामुळे मलाही रोहितमुळे खरं तर आम्ही असं झालं की अजूनही अशी मुलं असतील, अजूनही सीनियर ॲज अ सीनियर पॅरेंट आता मला असं वाटतं की अजूनही असे न्यू मदर्स आहेत किंवा न्यू फॅमिलीज आहेत ज्यांना अशी मुलं आता त्यांच्या आयुष्यात आलेली आहेत. त्यांना आपण कसं गाईड करू शकतो आणि सतत मोटिवेट करू शकतो पॅरेंट्सना, कारण अल्टिमेटली त्यांना त्या मुलाबरोबर राहायचंय. मूल जे असतं त्याची काळजी थेरपिस्ट, डॉक्टर्स असे घेतच असतात, त्याच्यावर लक्ष असतं. पण एक आई म्हणून त्याचे पॅरेंट्स म्हणून त्यांना मोटिवेट ठेवणं सतत हे खूप गरजेचं असतं. तेवढं मला सांगायचंय.
Thank you so much
Yes.
for being
Yeah.
open and sharing your experience that you've had with Rohit, and being
Yeah.
very open. She is one of the parents that, you know, it's been years that we have been together. Very open, very lively, has beautifully accepted the current situation. There is a hollow, there is sorrow, but still she is somebody who always had faith. Very beautifully she accepted that, you know, मी जर घाई केली नसती बसवायची तर probably काहीतरी वेगळं असतं. But what I would like to highlight here is the acceptance, and very gracefully accepting and looking forward to a tomorrow. Thank you so much for being so open and sharing your experience. I would
Thank
request
you.
Afia's mom to share hers with us.
हिंदी में बोलूं मैडम?
हाँ बोलिए बोलिए अम्मी, जो भी.
हाँ, तो आफिया तो बहुत अच्छी थी, पहले नॉर्मल थी, एकदम नॉर्मल चाइल्ड थी, पर 2 साल पहले उसका हार्ट में होल था, तो उसको ऑपरेशन करने बोले। तो ऑपरेशन के बाद में आज ऑपरेशन हुआ है, और आज ही रात में मुझे पता चला कि उसका पूरा नीचे का जो पैर-वैर है सब हिलना ही बंद हो गया है। फिर 1-2 दिन में ही मालूम पड़ा कि उसका मतलब पूरा बॉडी स्टिल हो गया। फिर उसके 3-4 ऑपरेशन हुए, उसका ब्रेन में भी हुआ ऑपरेशन, और उसको फिर 4 महीना वो वेंटिलेटर पे थी। एकदम मतलब एकदम होप गिविंग था। लेकिन फिर थोड़ा था कि कभी ऐसा होप दी तो नहीं मैंने। डॉक्टर्स लोग ने भी भेज दिए घर पे, बोले ठीक है जाओ, वेंटिलेटर तो निकलना मुश्किल है। 2 महीना हम लोग हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट थे लेकर उसको, फिर घर पे आए, फिर 2 महीना घर पर वो वेंटिलेटर पे थी। पूरा हम लोग ने आईसीयू पूरा घर में बनाए, फिर उसको 2 महीना वेंटिलेटर पे थी, फिर घर में आकर उसका वेंटिलेटर निकल गया सबसे पहले। फिर वो 4 महीने से नाक के थ्रू वो ट्यूब डालकर, उससे फीडिंग ट्यूब था, उससे वो खाना खाती थी। फिर थोड़े दिन के बाद में वो भी निकल गया, फिर वो थोड़ी नॉर्मल हुई, फिर थोड़ा उसका सर, पहले उसका तो सर बैलेंस हुआ, फिर उसका हाथ बैलेंस हुआ, एक-एक करके आज 2 साल हो गया है। अभी माशाल्लाह से वो वॉकर लेके थोड़ा-थोड़ा, अभी तो थोड़ा-सा बहुत कम, बहुत सपोर्ट में चल रही है, बट चल रही है। और करुणा मैडम ने जो मुझे पॉजिटिव सपोर्ट जो दिए है, वो तो मुझे कोई डॉक्टर से नहीं मिला। मैं अब ऐसा हो गई थी ना कि मुझे सब डॉक्टर से चिढ़ आने लगी थी कि डॉक्टर्स मतलब कि होपलेस। लेकिन करुणा मैडम ने जो मुझे पॉजिटिव वो दिए ना कि नहीं, वो होगा, होगा, और मुझे उससे बहुत स्ट्रेंथ मिला, बहुत स्ट्रेंथ मिला। और 2 साल से मैं मेरी बच्ची के साथ में, समझो मैं भी एक पेशेंट की जैसी हूँ, उसके साथ में कहीं जाना नहीं, कहीं आना नहीं, लेकिन उसका हमेशा से पॉजिटिव प्लस रहना है। मेरी बच्ची भी, मैं भी, कि सबिया आफिया ज़रूर एक दिन चलेगी इंशाल्लाह। और करुणा मैडम का बहुत-बहुत, बहुत-बहुत मैं उनकी आभार हूँ और उनकी बहुत शुक्रगुज़ार हूँ कि उन्होंने मुझे इतना हेल्प किए। इवन पैंडेमिक में भी उन्होंने मैसेजेस से, वीडियोज़ से, हम लोग वीडियो सेंड करते थे, वो मुझे बताते थे ऐसा करना है, वैसा करना है। हर तरह से सपोर्ट किए। थैंक यू वेरी मच करुणा मैडम।
Ami, I am so thankful for putting in faith and allowing me to touch your baby. I am sorry that you had bitter experiences from the medical world, but we need not think about what's gone wrong. We have a beautiful day coming tomorrow, and we are going to, inshallah, see that she is going to walk soon. What I would like to share with you all regarding this strong mother is that the first time I saw this girl was in her house. I was requested to go home and see this baby. She's on the ventilator with complete support. There is no movement at all. But the sparkle in these parents' eyes and my affirmation of making a difference is what today we see the child upright and taking few steps. this strong mother was somebody, she asked कि madam tube निकाल देते हैं, बच्ची मुंह से निवाला लेने के लिए तड़प रही है. And I said, what do you feel? She said, I feel we will sail through. I said, let's give it a shot. She did it, and that has really helped. So here I'm sharing this with you because we need to instill more faith and tell our parents that, okay, if you feel, because they are the ones who have given birth, they are the ones who have raised the child, and they somewhere have the right instinct at times to make the right decisions. You need to clinically evaluate whether it is safe, it's unsafe, and if you have a slightest hope, let's just do it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Karuna. I would like to thank the beautiful parents, Mrs. Chaudhary and Mrs. Kanchan Desai. We will now proceed to the next thing. We have a few questions coming up from the audience. Hence, I would request Dr. Melissa to carry forward the question and answer session.
Dr. Karuna?
Yes, Melissa, I can hear you.
Yes. So actually, most of the queries that were supposed to be asked, you've already addressed them, which leaves us with just two. And that is the parents need support to deal with the diagnosis. Like the other parent also had shared, new mothers also require training. So do we have any parent training skill or some skill training or groups as such which help the parents deal with such a child and all the problems that they are having?
Thank you for the question, and it's a wonderful one. Opens up windows which have been closed. Unfortunately, Melissa, in our country, we really don't have such a structured program. Abroad, you do have structured parent caregiving programs right from birth, and they are very strongly documented, researched. But nevertheless, if you are the primary caregiver, the clinician, if you are the therapist also, the way I have done with my parents, which you all have seen, we need to have the time to even discuss with them. Most of the times, as therapists, we are taken away by just looking at the therapy goals. While you're doing therapy, I don't give any extra time or extra efforts. When I am doing therapy, I am consistently seeking feedback from the parents, through the discussions. Okay, now what next? If they feel that, no, I feel less informed and I need to seek more information, I ask the front desk to give them the contacts of the parents. They need to have an open session. They can come down, sit in the clinic and have a chat. So as long as we have the intention to help the parents, you find the way out. Unfortunately, we don't have any structured program, but even connecting your parents together, you can share the information, share numbers, and they have enough opportunity to share their experiences. That much at least we can do.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Karuna. I will take another question, which is regarding...
Sorry to interrupt, Dr. Karuna, please switch off your screen share so we can see you.
Okay, that's...
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I ask the other question?
Yes, please.
Yes. Dr. Karuna, what we would like to know is, usually as this is a long therapy, parents discontinue the therapy in between, maybe to try some alternative therapy or due to some spiritual reasons, naturopathy. And then when the child comes back, they come back with a deteriorating condition. And that time, what do we do or what do the parents do and how can we help at that point of time?
So this question is very, very age and case specific. But yes, a common answer to this is in the initial years, if you are treating, say, you have started treating a child below a year of age, until 5 to 6 years of age, I would really advise parents to stick to conventional modes of therapy. And then when the child is coming to a plateau after 4 to 5 years of consistent therapy, and when I mean consistent, it is not really essential that has to happen daily. A very well planned therapy, and plus opportunities to go out, there is enough play opportunities, and when you club all this together, you are seeing wonderful results. I would advise parents not to try something in between these crucial, laying the foundation. You see the artisans, when the clay is really wet, they are trying to mold it. So my dear parents, the earlier ages are the time where the molding and laying of the foundation of a good musculoskeletal system is being happening. This is not the right or the optimal time to seek out for allied therapies. Yes, when you see a plateau, the child starts getting a bit bored. You can give them a break, but what is critical is movement. In what form is it coming? If the movement is being given by hippotherapy sessions or an aquatic session, I am completely open to it. And we as therapists really need to be open. Yes, as long as you are giving the child an opportunity to move, and the child is not sitting still, then we should try it, but not in the earlier ages when you are laying the foundation.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Karuna. That was really kind of you to address the questions that we had, because the rest of it was pretty clear, and you dealt with it throughout the session. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Melissa, and thank you, Dr. Karuna.
Thank you.
I hope most of our queries have been addressed and the doubts clear. So let's head over to our concluding session of the webinar. I may now request Dr. Mamta to kindly give vote of thanks. Dr. Mamta?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, kindly proceed.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. And I feel very gratified to having been given this opportunity to present today's vote of thanks. I want to firstly thank our speaker, Dr. Karuna, for making time and sharing her knowledge and expertise with us. Also, I want to thank her parents of her children who have made time and shared their experience with their children. I would like to thank our IEP Central Committee for this platform where we come together and share our knowledge. I'm also thankful to our IEP Women's Council, especially Dr. Ruchi, and all the members of our IEP Goa. I'd like to thank our attendees, and today's webinar was indeed very informative. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mamta. I would like to thank everybody from the IAPWC team as well as the attendees to come and make this a success. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great
Bye-bye.
day.